Hi, my name is Nicole Lizée. I'm a composer based here in Montreal, and I'm thrilled to be nominated for this prize. I'll speak a little bit about my piece that is nominated, titled White Label Experiment. It was a commissioned work, commissioned by Soundstreams in Toronto for the percussion quartet So Percussion, based in New York City. And it was commissioned specifically to celebrate John Cage's 100th birth year. So I had worked previously with So Percussion in 2009 at the Mata Festival in New York. They were fantastic to work with, a perfect ensemble in which to experiment, try new things, and basically they were open for anything, which is, for me, is fantastic to have this canvas in which to do whatever I wanted and to collaborate with them. In this work, it was a full-on tribute to John Cage in every way. I would say he's a fairly big influence on my work, has been for a long time. I sort of discovered his work in my undergrad and heard his prepared piano works, which essentially blew my mind because he did things with a piano that I didn't think were possible and completely transformed the instrument. So for this work, I sort of jumped in with a tribute to him, not only his music, but also his words and his concepts, which I think had an enormous impact on art music. My jumping off point was his quote from 1939, I believe, where he said, "Percussion music is revolution." Of course, he was known for, he loved percussion music, really transcended the quartet and the role of percussion within an ensemble and within concert music in general, and within dance music, which I will talk a little bit about as well. But this quote, for me, I wanted to sort of reference my aesthetic, and I sort of reinterpreted it to mean revolution as being the turntable. I've worked with the turntable for about 20 years now and have extensively written for it, notated for it, and integrated it into concert music. Cage was one of the first to use a phonograph or a turntable in his works in 1959 Imaginary Landscapes. And in this, I wanted to both reference that and reference what I've been doing. I think one of Cage's major contributions to art music has been his use of prepared instruments, and I mentioned the piano earlier. And I wanted to take this aesthetic and apply it to the turntable. So in this case, I prepared the records. I taped the records and otherwise altered them so as to create a locked groove and pre-existing grooves and patterns that couldn't be changed. And this was interesting because once you have this locked groove and it can't be changed, I essentially then would use the ensemble as another locked groove, not playing in sync with that turntable, but playing sort of against them, maybe a little bit faster, a little bit slower, and create this interesting kind of collision or integration, superimposition of tempos. I'll just speak a little bit about the title of the work, White Label. For me, this also screams Cage as well. It references the rave concept, which I wanted to explore with this, and also the idea of his being really influenced by Robert Rauschenberg's white paintings from 1951, which led to his creating 4 minutes and 33 seconds. So just to explain a little bit about what labels are, they sort of began to appear in the late 80s, and they existed for a few reasons, mainly so that the DJs would not give away their discoveries, who they were playing, to other DJs. They want to keep their treasures or their discoveries to themselves, kind of thing, and just for the public's consumption. Another reason was there was a lot of experimentation going on, a lot of sampling, sample culture started to arise, and many of these were not cleared, so there were copyright issues, so they would not put anything on the label. Also in this piece, keeping with Cage's aesthetic about finding unconventional sonorities in new places, coaxing sort of new sounds in new places or unlikely places. In this, which is something I've been doing in my music for a while, is finding new ways to incorporate instruments that are not traditionally considered instruments. In this work, I really developed and really pushed the possibilities for omnichord within the concert music setting and within a percussion quartet setting. So the omnichord is essentially an electronic auto harp, and you press buttons and you articulate along a sound strip, and it's capable of a lot of sort of otherworldly kind of sounds. And when you merge these with a glockenspiel or with a drum kit or with anything really, it adds this otherworldliness to it, this other kind of sonority where you're not sure what that is. And so in this work, I performed with the quartet, I performed the omnichord, and really, again, keeping with the idea of synchronization, really meticulously planned what the sonorities, the chord changes, sort of tapping, sort of playing it incorrectly as well, finding the wrong ways to play it so that new sort of sounds would result, and then merge these with with members of the percussion ensemble.